The lines between truth and representation of character and storytelling aspects were constantly wrestled throughout the film. So my name's Ben Lawrence, I'm the director of the documentary Ghosthunter, and the film deals with adult survivors of childhood trauma. It also deals with the paranormal and spiritual investigators out there within our community, and it's all seen through one character. It's an investigation to really uncover what happened during his childhood.
This is one of my cameras I use to take photos. K2 meter, when you want to communicate to the spirits.
Made a noise. Bang.
Anywhere that people think that might be haunted.
Did you hear that?
Yeah. Me and the team will go and check it out. The first ghost I ever saw was my brother's. He was killed in a car accident. I never knew I had a brother until I was 18.
The role of a filmmaker in documentaries can often be seen as a journalistic role. And I was always very clear that I wanted to be a storyteller and not a journalist. I knew that it would be a challenging material to watch. So I wanted at the forefront to be a really rich story. So we took from the mystery genre, we took aspects from the thriller genre, and we framed the story within that structure and within those techniques. And that gave the audience an opportunity to experience something they might not otherwise engage with. So in making Ghosthunter, I used a variety of styles. The two predominant ones were a very cinematic, locked-off wide shot of the main character at work as a security guard. So they allowed the audience, I guess, to create some intrigue, a lot of tension. There were a lot of screen time in one single camera setup, which was great for a documentary that had to move pretty quickly. And then the other style was observational documentary, which was really the time that I'd spent with Jason by myself, which was about 5 years. So that was just me doing camera and sound on an A7. And we would go ghost hunting. I would go and spend time at his house. And I guess they were the more emotional parts of the film. They were the times when Jason was responding in real time to events as they unfolded. So those two styles, then when put together, I think it creates a journey that seems unpredictable, but also, I guess, cinematic and intriguing. When you're filming and something is unfolding, it's quite an amazing experience in that you've spent years or months or weeks leading up to that moment where you're capturing something that's either been scheduled or is happening in front of you that you may have anticipated. And from a filmmaking point of view, particularly in my situation where it was just me with a camera and you're doing sound and picture and you're trying to keep all those technical aspects going seamlessly while you're still present with the person because they're going through something either emotional or challenging. I can only equate it to playing an instrument when you're trying to put all your training into a moment, keep the technical things going while remaining present for another person. The way in which that I tried to keep up with the story was just trying to record everything. So every time something would happen, we'd record either a pre or post interview. We'd try and film as much as we could. I was recording telephone conversations all along the way, trying to document everything. That just put me in the best possible position to then have as many choices in the edit. And that was partly due to just the best procedure for me, but also the unpredictability of the story. I didn't know where it was going to go. And what do you remember about coming in here?
Mum and Dad cooking in here, running a restaurant. And yeah, I wasn't allowed up here much. I was never allowed to go anywhere. Just come in, get and go back out. That's it, you can't go upstairs, you can't do nothing.
You want to have a look?
Yeah.
So the decision for me to be actually on camera came very late in the process. It was during the edit because the story was still unfolding, and what was happening in the background was I was getting a lot of telephone calls about Jason and other elements of the story from people who were unwilling or unable or uncomfortable with appearing on camera themselves. So to reflect that information, it became a practical storytelling aspect that I step in and become part of the film. So when that decision was made, we really need to sew in my journey through the film. It was part respecting the subjects and the characters within the film, their journey and what they were disclosing, because it was stories and secrets they'd kept to themselves for over 20, 30 years. Back in here, so do you remember when we first met? Mm-hmm. It was 2010. That person you presented to me, who was that?
A fake person. Because I was trying to fight myself. I wanted to be that Jason.
My hope is that audiences firstly go and see it, but they see it for a great story, and as the best documentaries can be, that nothing is what it seems. And that was certainly my experience of making the film, that everything I imagined the film was going to be, it was something else entirely.